Thank you for your time. So if you were to explain or give an elevator pitch about your exhibit, what would you tell somebody it is?
You got to see it.
Yeah.
It's one of the things where, it's an immersive experience where you're getting art the way I would envision it. I did all this stuff to put on my own wall and then decided to share it with other people. But it's just from my perspective, of the artists that I'm a fan of, put together as mixed media, you know what I'm saying? That's almost like the same way I would do a song. I would want a song to pop off the wall if I was playing it. I want this to pop off the wall when you're feeling it. And it has all the elements I would want to hold the room down, you know what I'm saying, to kind of make it work. So that's my elevator pitch, but still, you got to see it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way for me to explain it better than you got to see it.
No doubt. And I was, just doing some research, and you did a Breakfast Club interview about 6 years ago, and you were talking about your music. Sorry. Yeah, that's DC for you. But yeah, so during the interview, you had mentioned that you are an analog man in a digital world. So it's interesting just with a lot of your work being mixed media and also using digital, like in this space. So I guess what am I trying to ask? Like, what kind of made you open up more to just including more digital art into, like the mixed media in this exhibit?
Oh, it's not only that. I mean, the digital, if we really look at it, it's like you can see me in person or you can see me on FaceTime. Mm-hmm. I did a job. Do I want to get a snail mail check and it's walking and pay you in cash, or do I want a digital Zelle that I see in my account in minutes? When I buy something, do I want to get it immediately, or do I want to wait for someone to have to actually process that function? So I just still look at it as this is analog conversation. You know what I'm saying? You're getting my actual voice, not a digitized version of my voice. And still the engagement that I'm having as a human is analog. The digital is just a way that we'll be able to preserve it. If we have a digital photograph of something that happened today, it's still analog and digital. So I think the digital is just for record keeping that's going to go forward. Just like if you have actual photographs, the photographs you see are the ones you have that are digitized that are on your phone and your Facebook or your Instagram. The other ones that are just on a regular photograph, you might not see them that often because you have to actually be at them. So that's simply my balance of analog and digital in that way. And with the actual art, some things were created in a digital way mainly because we were able to manipulate them into what we felt the reality could be, not necessarily exactly what it is. And especially when we're dealing with artists that are no longer present, what are we going to do? Take photo shoots of 555 Fat Five Freddy faces, or we're going to actually be able to digitally change some elements around. So I utilize digital, but I use it as a tool, not as a rule.
Yeah, no doubt. And what sparked this inspiration just to pivot into this industry? Obviously,
during my last album, Black on Purpose, I had to do all the videos via the phone. So when I started actually putting visual aspects to the music that I created for that project, at the end of it, I was happy to just get it out and just say, okay, this is what it is. And then I was kind of like, I wanted to pivot from music and kind of leave it alone after doing it for 36 years. So when I started playing around with art, I didn't know what I was going to arrive at, but I put the same passion into creating this that I put into creating anything else. And this is where we've arrived. So I'm just sharing where I've actually arrived.
It's cool. How's the response been? Because I know the original museum is in Miami, right? Like where you
It's in Miami. I mean, it's almost like a ball player saying he can rap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People don't know until they actually hear it and see it. So, we did the summer in New York, and then we're doing this here in DC on our way back to Miami. Just so people can actually get a chance to see it in person, because a lot of people that I know me very well have seen pictures, but they didn't 100% get how much it was popping off the wall until they stood in front of it. So this is simply that certain things you have to see in person. In certain places you had to be there.
Yeah, no doubt. And it literally pops off the wall. We saw some of the interactive ones with like the speakers on them. So it's just really dope, really unique.
And this is 12 out of 50. Actually,
really?
Active right now. Yeah.
Okay.
We couldn't fit most. We had 25 in New York, and I still have a full gallery, 3,000 square foot gallery that's full in Miami right now.
Wow.
There are more that'll be unveiling in Art Basel. It's the growth of something new. It's what I put out there right now. If I do something else next year, that'll be that. But in general, it's a self-expression. And I pretty much, my blessing as an artist is creative period is that I create what I like, and then I see who else likes it. They can show up.
No doubt. Cool. That's cool. And if you don't mind, I just wanted to ask more general questions just about your career, if that's cool. So with your, just with where you're from, with your background, with Caribbean roots and everything, is that something you've always been proud of? I know, it's obviously shows in your music, but is that something you've always been proud of, or something you had to come around to?
I've never not been proud of it. When growing up as a New Yorker, it's funny that Jamaican and Puerto Rican culture are almost part of New York culture, the way it comes up. So when I was a kid, I would, even before even really being hipped into Trinidad or Barbados, whatever it was, still in my single digit ages, the food, of course, I was familiar with, because that's part of what I was growing into. But also, the fact that hip hop was coming up alongside reggae. So I would go to a store and I would see a Yellow Man record, and I would also see a Sugar Hill record. So it was just part of what it was. And I never actually worked on any Caribbean stuff until the 90s when I was working on Bobby Condas, and then he was doing some reggae hip hop remixes. And then I was applying the stuff that I thought about for hip hop into it. But then looking back at it, my dad had done, Dougie Fresh's first recording, which was a combination with Sly and Robbie on the track and Dougie Fresh and Spinny G rapping. So it was always there, but it was never not being proud of it. It just also, I realized that I had a knack for it because I didn't see it any different than any other side of music, because it's part of home.
Yeah.
So I never had to separate. This is a West Indian moment. This is a this like no, actually it's a moment.
Mm-hmm.
So it made it work.
No doubt. And how have you been? Just again, just doing. Digging through some interviews and some archives, how have you been able to bring the best out of artists? Because I just saw that come up a lot, that like the artists would have the raw talent, but you were able to bring out their full potential. So how have you been able to do that for almost 4 decades?
I just ask questions. I ask questions and I know how I would want to hear it. So I ask the artists questions and get them to try to be truthful about their expression artistically and not dilute it because they're trying to please someone else. So when the artist's actually truthful, they don't have to put on anything in order to act that out. They don't have to put on anything to find the words. They're finding the words because you ask them a question. It's almost like therapy in a way. But you're actually saying what you actually feel and being who you are, rather than needing to put on some type of I keep going back to a Lauryn Hill lyric recently where she was saying, trying to fix myself for society. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Which is, I think that's on the Queen of Slum soundtrack. But just the whole idea of, I have to make myself like this so that you like me. No, I have to be who I am so that I like me. And then whoever's supposed to like me is going to show up soon. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing musically. What do you really like? You really like that? Well, you're going to perform differently on what you really like.
No doubt. And I promise just have a few more questions for you. What are nuggets you've taken working as a music executive and now having your own label? Like, what are some nuggets and gems you picked up that you've been able to implement in what you do with your label?
I don't know about direct nuggets, but I mean, just as a practice, it's just sticking to what you do best. And all money's not good money. I'm saying you have to know when it's actually there. Mute all the numbers in the deal and does the terms of it actually work for you. Making sure that the way that you're dealing with people is the way that you would want to be dealt with. So as long as you're keeping that type of stuff in balance, all of it just works out.
Mm-hmm. For sure. What are some learning curves you've had? Navigating. I
don't say it like that. I mean, sometimes people are like, so what's the biggest problem you had? The biggest problem is if I thought I had a problem. You know what I'm saying? If I think I don't have a problem, then I'm not recognizing it. I don't need the 359 ways it's not going to work. I need the one way it is. And I keep hitting the needle in the haystack because I focus on how to get it done. So when everybody else gives up and gets determined, gets deterred by a bunch of setbacks. I'm like, and then one more go. You know what I'm saying? So the way that I verbalize it normally is one more try. I didn't never know why Wyclef said that. I wouldn't say, no, that's bad. I say, oh, all right, that sounds good. Give me one more time. I think we got it now. And, that's how you get to where you got to get, So I look at it as just being determined and focused. I can do anything. I feel like it.
No doubt. And this is my last one. So what do you hope that, well, I'll say this. I'm backtrack a little bit. If the young Salaam was to look at what you've become and who you become today, do you think he'd be proud? And what are some things you would tell him?
I think it'd just be like, keep going. Keep doing what you want to do more than anything else. Proud? Yeah, I guess proud because, whatever I set out to do, I've pretty much done it at this point. And I have new things that I'm setting out to do now. So as I do them, then I'll be happy. But the way my brain is wired, and then I come up with something else. You know what I'm saying? So I just think in general, hopefully it's spreading inspiration. Sometimes people want me to talk about what happened already. But as Nas said in the song, I don't like to reminisce because what we're doing right now is really lit. You know what I'm saying? I don't have time to really watch TV. Because my actual true and living life right now, speaking to you at this point, looking out this window, this is actually very vivid to me. It's more than HD, so we're creating realities out of the next level just by being who we are, and I'm going to continue doing that.
That's what's up. I appreciate it. Is there anything else you wanted to add? Or?
No, just if you're inspired, do it. You know what I'm saying? That's most things. Most times, people stop what they think they can do because of perceptions. If you feel it, do it. That's all I can say.
Well, Salaam, I really do appreciate your time. Cool. And congratulations on this exhibit too. Like this really dope. We took a look at it on the way up and everything.